I feel like imposter syndrome hits heavy when I think about these things I'm about to talk about in this video. Like, maybe I'm just not cut out to be a software engineer. Maybe this just isn't the path for me. But then again, maybe I'm not the only one that dislikes these aspects of software engineering. So at the risk of sounding like the worst dev ever, I want to talk about the worst things about being a software engineer. The very first one is sitting down in an office and staring at the screen all day. I know this is an obvious one. Like, what else did you expect? If you want to be a software engineer, obviously you're going to be at the computer all the time. But you also have to keep in mind that one of the big reasons why I became a software engineer was because I know if I played my cards right, I'd be able to write code from anywhere at any time that's convenient for me. And that would be, freelancing. I have clients, but I'm able to allocate, maybe 4 hours a day to coding for those clients. And then the rest of the day I could do whatever I wanted. That was always the goal until YouTube came into picture, and making videos is a little bit easier than writing code for clients. So, another story for another day. But of course you're going to be sitting at a computer all day. I remember in the last 2 years of college, I would periodically research what I can do with my computer science degree that is outside or that changes up every single day, because I was coming from a technical sales specialist role into college, and in that role I was traveling all up and down the eastern seaboard, visiting with people, training people how to use this vapor abrasive sandblaster, and I would train people on it, I would sell people on it, I would demonstrate the equipment to people, and I really liked how I was doing something a little bit different every single day. I tried to figure out how to go about being a software engineer that is a little bit different like that every single day. I found something that had to do with sensors or this and that, and I was able to travel to job sites. Maybe that wasn't coding, maybe that was just computer science as a whole, but I haven't, you're going to be staring at a screen if you're a software engineer, and that's something that I don't like. Or I should say that in past tense, because now I'm kind of able to set my schedule the way I want. So I found a way to be able to not have to stare at a screen the whole entire day. If I can just be at the computer for maybe 4-5 hours a day, and the rest of the day I can do what I want, well, then that's a good day. And that's definitely one of the worst things, just sitting down at a computer all day and doing basically the same exact thing every single day. I also don't like daily stand-up. If you don't know what stand-up is, it's when the entire software dev team comes together and we stand up just like this, and then we sit back down and we're done again. We talk about what we did the day before, what we're going to be doing today, and if there are any roadblocks for what you're going to be doing today. That's basically it. So in a sense, it's very quick if it's done right. It should take like 10 minutes, give or take, depending on how many problems occur and how big your team is. But even that, doing that every single day, I just don't like it. And while I can understand why it's done at times, I mean, if you think about it, if you are properly documenting your progress in Jira or whatever other project management tool that you use, why are stand-ups so critical to the process? Because one should be able to look at the Jira board and see what needs to be done, what is in progress, and what is already done. As long as it's updated properly, you can see everything in that board. In stand-up, I just don't like having to report to someone every single day saying, I did this, I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm having trouble here. Not sure why I don't like it so much. Probably because I have a slight problem with authority, and the fact of the matter is I'm not a 12-year-old that needs to report to his mommy every day about what I did and make sure I'm doing everything right and what I need to do today. It's a bit degrading. I guess that is why I don't like it. That's probably why I work for myself now. Now, number 3, I don't know if this one's too relatable, but obviously you can tell that I like to have long hair. I like to mess with my facial hair. I don't, I try to stay nice and groomed and keep this all nice and trimmed and whatnot. But what I don't like about being in a corporate space as a whole, which many software dev jobs are, I don't like the need to be well groomed. Now, maybe in Silicon Valley, I mean, I've seen this meme, right? I've seen this meme where obviously programmers are known to be a little bit less groomed, so maybe it's not so much expected of us, and maybe if you're in Silicon Valley it doesn't matter that much. I don't know, never been there, but where I worked, very corporate type of deal, and they want you to be nice and shaved, or at least well groomed. Your hair, I mean, I bet I'd be getting some weird looks if I had long hair like this and a mustache and a little bit of a stubble here. I like to do what I want. I like to look how I want. I don't want to have to be that cookie cutter guy with a what is it, like faded up to a little bit of longer hair on top and clean shaved. I don't care to look like that. I care to look like me. And the fact of the matter is, because of that, like stigma, you gotta look just right. I would always overdress to any sort of corporate deal that we went to, just to try to compensate for how I looked, because maybe I grew out a beard, maybe my hair wasn't, I don't get a haircut every single week. Like, I don't know who does that. If you like it, fine. I don't, but I would always make sure I dress better than everybody else, because if someone says anything about my hair or makes a joke, I'll be like, well, look at you, bum. When you're wearing a polo, I'm wearing a suit. What's up? But I also hate the fact that I had to, I felt inclined to do that just to compensate for how people would perceive me in looking like a bum, essentially. And this one also gets me feeling a bit more like an imposter, but it's also reassured me when I talked about how long I code a day, and typically like 3 to 4 hours, that most people actually code a day, and there's a lot of support in that video. But even still, brain melt. That's what I'm going to call this. The worst part about being a software engineer, one of the things, is just melting your brain. Like, I remember coming home after long days at the office. I just felt like I couldn't get anything done because my brain was just like, I just melted, fried completely, because I was just trying to figure out all these problems, solve all these problems. I was staring at the code and trying to figure it out and trying all these different things, and I couldn't get it to work. And then maybe I finally got it to work, but then still my brain would just overload. And once I got off work, I was basically a couch potato. I mean, sure, I still made videos and did some other work here and there, but I didn't feel as, good as I should have felt. Because the fact of the matter is that coding all day is hard work, and it can take its toll. And let me tell you, trying to explain this to people who, do hard, back-breaking work all day, every day. You may know them as the people who say, oh, you don't work hard. You just sit in an air-conditioned office for 8 hours a day. I'm out here in the heat, sweating my ass off, breaking my back 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. You don't know what hard work is. Look, I've been there. I've worked on farms. I used to work 70 hours a week digging holes, running wheelbarrows full of river rock or mulch or gravel or anything else that you could imagine. Carrying 5, 10, 20-gallon pots that are filled with soil, wet soil with a tree sticking out of it. I know what that hard back-breaking work is like, and I respect it. I just wish that those types of people could respect my work, because at the end of the day, that type of work, at least what I did, is physically hard, but isn't mentally hard. That's why I could do it with no prior experience as a high school student. Not all blue collar jobs are like that. I understand that, but put a little respect on the names of software developers, because while we don't have physically hard work, mentally, it hurts. Mentally, it is hard work. That is why there's a specific set of people with the specific set of skills that it takes to be a software developer. Not everyone can do it. And even if they can, it takes them typically years to garner the skill well enough to actually be able to make money doing it. And finally, the absolute worst part about being a software engineer, the absolute worst, is knowing that one day you'll build technology that'll completely destroy the human race. But hopefully that's not for a while.